Hello, my name is Abby, and this is my journal club presentation on how repetitive typing affects muscle fatigue. The study wanted to understand how prolonged typing in the increasingly electronic workspace relates to long-term muscle fatigue. Their questions centered around identifying the electromyographic activities, also known as EMG, of finger muscles during prolonged, low forces and repetitive typing. They also wanted to analyze the possible mechanisms of muscle fatigue. Computers have extensively been used in many workplaces as well as in households. During the time the study was held, the Center for Office Technology reported about 175 million computers were in use in the US. Currently, approximately 81% of households have a computer. Sections thoroughly reference assumptions prior to the study that have founded their objectives. Predicate research relating muscle fatigue with typing is frequently referenced using other peer-reviewed articles as further evidence. The image on top illustrates these frequent references to predicate studies. The image at the bottom demonstrates how 49 references were used as backing for this study. The study has also been cited by 48 papers since its publishing in 2009. The subjects of this study consisted of 30 healthy females with a mean age of 23 years. All subjects were recruited from a bulletin board system, or BBS, commonly used in 2009 when the study was published. BBS is an old-style computer system equipment that allows users to dial in remotely using a telephone line to access services, such as downloading files, exchanging emails, and participating in public discussions. Each subject had no history of upper extremity pain lasting more than 1 day in the past 1 year, reported individually. They have also all had a physical examination to ensure no pain, tenderness, weakness, or other symptoms of muscular skeletal disorders or upper extremities prior to this test. None of the participants were male, and no reason was provided as to why only females were chosen. All participants were selected from the BBS system, but their respective work hours were not included. This may indicate possible bias. In a lab, a compartment stimulating the workstation that typists used in daily working was built. This was built based on the reference literature. All subjects were asked to adjust the height of the seat cushions, the height of the armrest, and the backrest inclination based on personal preference. A half-split keyboard with very specific slant, angle, and support features, as described on the slide, was also used to ensure consistency. Researchers also checked postural angles to ensure all participants fell within the ranges in Table 1 below. The disposable EMGs were placed on both forearms, the bend area of the right ankle, the upper forearms, and 5 centimeters away from the bicep tendon at the elbows. A preamplifier with high impedance was also used for every electrode to reduce noise. A 5-kilogram resistance for the procedure was applied to the middle phalanges of digits, and the subjects were instructed to extend their fingers for 6 seconds. These are known as flexor muscles. The maximum voluntary electrical activation, also known as MVE, recorded for this test was recorded to normalize the data. Subjects then typed for a 2-hour period without pause for longer than 3 seconds. Once the entire 2 hours were done, the MVE was collected again at a 5-minute intervals. The study does not indicate whether an IRB approval was obtained, but every subject received an informed consent prior to the participation. The analysis used Barada's method to eliminate the interface of ambient electromagnetic fields and was equipped with a bandpass filter in the range of 10 to 500 hertz. In order to condense the 2 hours of data for every subject, the LabVIEW 6.0 software created averages for every 10 seconds. This raw data was then used to normalize the MVE collected prior to the 2-hour test. The mean electrical activation, also known as EA, was plotted against time and then analyzed by the linear regression method. The bandpass filter effectively reduced noise, as seen in the figures to the right. However, the linear regression model, as shown below, does not help differentiate the differences between participants. The results were not significant. Median frequency, also known as MDF, and electrical activity, known as EA, average values per each electrode placement, as shown in the studied muscles REDC, LEDC, etc., showed decreases in activity and slope, as indicated by the negative sign. This suggests a correlation with typing and increased muscle fatigue. The electrical activation for the right flexor differed since it was positive. This indicated increased activity after the 2-hour test was completed. The results are not present and clear in an understandable way. For instance, from Table 2 previously shown, the right flexor muscle showed an increase in electrical activation after the 2-hour test. This was not explained throughout the discussion. The graphs also show little to none changes in slope, but conclusions suggested that there were significant correlations in prolonged typing and muscle fatigue. The 2-hour testing was one limitation that constricted the number of participants taken in because of how long the studies took. In the present study, muscular fatigue occurred to 80% of the recorded extensor and flexor muscles after 2-hour continuous typing activities. During sustained typing, the extensor muscles have to maintain the finger posture and work against gravity. Finger extensors are then more likely to experience fatigue than the flexors that hit the keys. Resting your hands against a surface while typing helps rest these muscles that are more fatigued and working against gravity and help you promote longer work sessions. This contributes to awareness of hand positioning when typing.